Yeah, go ahead. I'm brain's a little mushy right now, so you can just ask away.
Well, with Mrazek and Smith, but the Mrazek especially, just
Mhm.
how much of that was, with once you got Spencer and knowing the trajectory that you were going in that direction, did you want to see if you could guide him somewhere?
Yeah, it's exactly that. I think, and just to speak a little bit about Peter, I think you saw firsthand what kind of person he was at his media availability in a really tough spot. Where it was very clear what direction we were going to go in, and he was the odd man out in that. And to handle himself the way he did, both in front of the cameras and then behind, those are the type of people everyone wants in their organization. First class, absolute pro. And so to see that and to handle things the way he did was, you try and, when the opportunity is there to do right by someone like that, you try and make it happen. And same goes for Craig Smith. He wasn't put in the type of situation Peter was, but first class, absolute pro, and to make that work and to get someone like Joe back, I think it just made sense. It made sense in a lot of different ways, and I wish nothing but the best for Peter and Craig, and excited to give Joe Valeno some run over here.
So is he going to be here tonight, or is he
I
going to meet
don't
you
believe he's going to be here tonight. I think it was a little bit too late. They were in Washington, I want to say, and so it was just tough getting travel in, and so I don't believe he's here tonight.
probably just meet you in Nashville or
I
something?
believe that's the plan. Yes. Yeah.
What do you see in him, or what role do you think he can fill?
Well, he's got some pace. He's got some size to his game. I think he can play the center position, and so there's some versatility there to him, and he's still only 25, and we'll give him some run and give him some opportunity and see what he can do. He's been on the scene for quite some time. He came in very highly touted. He's a talented guy, and we'll give him some opportunity and see if we can pull some additional value out of him, and sometimes a little opportunity and change of scenery does that for some guys. So.
What was the thought process behind the Utah trade?
I think there's a little bit of there's some intrigue in Aku and also in Victor. He's having a great year in Brynäs. We scout those Swedish leagues pretty heavily, and his team's in first place, and he's a big reason why. And so kind of get a little more in-depth view into him and see if there's something there to maybe move forward with beyond this year. Once they finish up, we'll kind of explore that as we get to know Victor a little bit better as a person. I think, and then taking on Shea, we've just got so much room that it was kind of the price of doing business, and it doesn't change anything that we will or won't do in the summer. It doesn't change any ambition from that standpoint. So we still have over $30 million in cap space next year, and not too many guys to re-sign here. So, there's still a lot of opportunity should it come available to us.
With Ryan Donato, obviously, he was one of those guys who, how much did you get as far as feelers for him, and are you guys working on an extension now?
Yeah, we've certainly talked and kind of exchanged some ideas. I won't get into it too much, but that certainly did occur, and I'm sure we'll continue moving forward. And there was interest in Ryan, and I had what I told other teams, and our plan was we were going to set a high price because we value Ryan. We love what he brings on the ice, off the ice. He's a guy that never stops trying to get better. He took some very meaningful steps in trying to improve his game this summer, which I believe is translating into a career year this year. And so that's just a great example that again, you want in your organization. And so Ryan holds value to us as well. And you know what? There was certainly some on the marketplace, but not. It never rose to the point that compelled us to move on. And so, we look forward to him continuing his success this year and success within our locker room, and for seasons beyond this, I guess we'll kind of let that play out and see where that ends up.
With the Jones trade and then with Joe Valeno coming in, those were really, in many ways, hockey trades more than adding draft capital. Are you transitioning more to being more focused on hockey trades than maybe adding draft assets?
I would probably say so. I don't necessarily know if that was the stated intent of those. It's just kind of how it worked. But I think it's safe to say that we're likely moving away from that. Now, you never say never in terms of, like if something makes sense for draft capital. I'm not anti-draft capital anymore. It's just, in these cases, it made sense to add players and to add guys to the roster. And so, that's my wife calling. And so, it made sense in this case, and everything. Again, making trades is hard, and you don't necessarily take a player or a situation and be like, I'm going to get another player in this, or I'm going to get draft capital in this. It's just it either works that way or it doesn't. And so, in those cases, it worked out as hockey trades, probably more so because of the money. The money necessitates that sometimes, but I think it's safe to say that we're going to look more at those types of trades or situations moving forward. Certainly, we've got a ton of draft capital. Adding more, if it's if that's what happens, okay. But I don't think there's anything that is out there or could be out there for us that we wouldn't be able to do because we don't have enough draft capital. It's we've got a ton. And can you find value in more draft capital? I suppose, yes. But every situation necessitates a different type of trade. So,
what was your sense of the overall market? It seemed like there were a lot of high value picks being thrown around.
Yeah, it certainly seemed that way. I don't have a feel for if that's. I couldn't tell you if that's different than in previous years than this year. There were some bigger deals this year for sure, bigger names moving around, which feels like something that's becoming more and more of an occurrence. I would say maybe it's, I don't know why that is, but yeah, I'd probably agree with that assessment that it felt like there were a few more high value picks being tossed around. We got one in our trade with Florida, as well as a great young player. So